Good morning, Internet land. Welcome, everybody. I'm just going to wait for Instagram to go live as well, and then I'll get started. So, obviously, the little straggler that always takes a minute. Here we go. So, good. We're about to be live everywhere. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of DIY Wellness. I'm your host, Brian Hogan, and my co host, Morgan, is not here with me today. She got called away last minute, so I'm just going to take you guys through the episode today and what we wanted to talk about. So, today's topic is one that I think is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. I know it's definitely near and dear to my own, and it is how to make your to do list more manageable. I mean, who doesn't want a more manageable to-do list? I certainly know that I do. So this is a really powerful tool developed by Martha Beck, sociologist Martha Beck. She's a life coach and a best-selling author. She's Oprah's life coach, and she created this tool, and it's an amazing tool. And basically, it's a way to figure out for yourself what is really the hot priorities on my to-do list. What are the medium priorities? What are the low priorities? What's actually values driven? What's necessities driven, and how can I sort through all that and manage my time better and get through the things that are actually necessities while reducing the overwhelm about things that seem like necessities but might not be, or just helping us get clarity around ways to put all of these various and sundry pieces together so that the to-do list that we create each day or each week or each month or 5-year plans that some of us like to create are actually doable and manageable, and more than that, that they're fulfilling and joyful and useful in more ways than just being a productive member of society, but also useful for your joy and your peace and your harmony and your happiness. Because I would argue that being joyful and peaceful and harmonious and happy directly relates to making you a more productive member of society, more productive in terms of how kind you are, how, I don't know, able you are to show up there and help, and how, you know, much energy you have to put forward in society based on how you manage your time and manage your to-do list. So right now, I just kind of gave a little bit of a preamble, but I'm going to welcome Morgan
Great.
back. Hi, Mo. Welcome to DIY Wellness episode 6, how to manage your to-do list.
Thanks. Great. Okay. Sorry. I'm watching my mom's dog and I took him out before we went live, but then he decided to shit all over the floor and my husband can't bend over right now. So that's fun. That was an example of something that I have to do right now, and I can't bag it, barter, or better it. I can't use 3 B's on that. I have to do it right now.
Yeah. Okay. So then there's the deal with it. That's the deal with it
Yes.
option.
Yeah, deal with it, I guess.
That's so interesting. Wow. Well, I'm so glad that you're back and done cleaning up your poop, and
Oh my
just in
gosh.
time to dive in about the 3 Bs. So, how are you taking personal growth into your own hands as well as dog poop into your own hands this week,
Oh my
Mo?
gosh, no.
Too soon? Too
Yeah,
soon?
I'm working on I'm working through it is too soon, Brian. It happened 2 seconds ago. Um I'm working on moving through my to-do list. I'm working on just taking care of the long list of things that there are to do. And we have a really great tool for that that's from our training with Martha Beck that is, as Brian described earlier, kind of a Swiss Army knife life coaching tool. It's great for almost everything except for when a dog shits on your floor right when you're going live on a podcast, but it's great for everything else.
Yes, awesome. Perfect. So this basically, we're going to take you guys through this tool, and it's called the 3 Bs. It's going to help you to learn how to handle the overwhelming to-do list better by providing you 3 separate strategies. The 3 Bs stand for bag it, barter it, or better it, which is what makes this the Swiss Army knife of life coaching tools,
Yes.
because it's 3 tools in one tool, and the tool is called the 3 Bs. And so essentially, the first thing to ask yourself is, can I bag this? And that just means, like, can I get it off my to-do
Hold
list?
up. You first make yourself a to-do list, which you may already have,
Yeah,
but you
okay.
wanna make sure that you have all the things that are running through your mind, that are weighing on your heart, that you feel like need to happen. At least in my case and in my dad's case, I think of him because he is definitely the type of person to run through a list over and over again. And
Mhm.
then the process of running through that list and having all these options for things that you need to do creates stress and overwhelm. And so
Yeah.
this tool, these strategies are something that you can use to eliminate that feeling by making a decision about each of these things so that you're not just cycling through them over and over again. Oh my gosh, I got to do this. Oh my gosh, got to do this, and this is coming up. Blah, 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 blah. Once you make a decision about how to handle each of those list items, which is what this tool does, is it helps you procedurally make a choice about each of these things in terms of how you're going to handle them. Once that decision is made, the weight or the mental stress of thinking about those tasks goes away. It becomes significantly easier to just focus on one thing at a time and not have the entire weight of the list weighing on you throughout each of the other things that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So this is it. This is the tool here. Like all the different prongs of the Swiss Army knife are here to help you reduce the feeling of overwhelm around the decisions that you have to make and provide you some clarity about whether some of them are even decisions that you have to make, which brings us to the very first tool on the Swiss Army knife. Let's call this one the corkscrew, which is the uh, bag it tool. As Martha Beck likes to say, why put off until tomorrow what you can cancel? And I love that
Yes.
phrase because you think it's going to be why put off until tomorrow what you can do today. But that's not where we're going with this, people. We are saying, look at the thing on your list and can you cancel it? Like, is it actually necessities driven? Is it actually joy and fulfillment driven, like passion driven? Or is it
Yeah.
etiquette driven, culturally driven, like expectation driven? And those things oftentimes we don't realize because they're habitual for us, but we can just cancel them. We literally just don't have to do a lot of the things that we've put on our to-do list. And so if you can get out of
Yeah.
it and it's not something that's going to bring you joy or a necessity for your life, then get out of it.
Right. Right.
Prioritize your kindness, your joy, and your peace over polite niceties of society.
Right. Yeah. So there's some things that we can't cancel, like doing your taxes. You have to do your taxes. That's not joyful, but it's something that is a, necessity for our lives, right? But there are some things like, oh, I said that I would go to this thing, but actually the thought of doing it makes me want to go to sleep and I really don't think that I'm going to get any joy out of it and I don't have any reason that I need to.
Exactly.
Then the reason that we start with bag it is because if you can just bag it, then that's the quickest way to alleviate some amount of stress is just to cancel it, just to throw it in the garbage. And sometimes we're throwing it in the garbage temporarily. So I might be able to bag it this week and make the decision to myself, I'm not going to do this right now. I'm not going to do that this week because it doesn't have to get done at this moment. It may need to get done at some point, but I may still be able to use Baggett um, in that moment so that I can focus on other things until it's time to, potentially use one of the other tools on that thing.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll know, you ask yourself this, and then the other two are barter it and better it. And so we're going to get into each of those in turn. So that's why the tool is called the 3Bs: bag it, barter it, better it. And so that's bag it. Why put off until tomorrow what you can cancel? And if you can
Yeah.
cancel it and it's not going to upend your life in any way, you're allowed to cancel it. It's just culture telling you that you have to honor your commitments. Like sometimes we make commitments due to people pleasing, societal pressure. Like those are not the commitments that you want to honor. You should quit that stuff immediately. So yes, quit if that's the right thing for you. And otherwise, then don't quit, right? So the second one is barter it. This is a perfect example with taxes that Mo just brought up because if
Mhm.
you don't, like, I don't want to do my own taxes. I just don't want to. And so I barter it away by paying my accountant to do my taxes for me. And so that's the essential nature of barter it. Can you swap this with somebody for something in return? Oftentimes,
Mhm.
bartering it looks like money exchanges in our society, but bartering it can be all kinds of things. It can be
Yeah.
it can literally be any sort of trade of goods for services so that you can get out of doing something you don't want to do and perhaps giving that something to somebody for whom it's their passion, for whom they
Yeah.
do want to do that thing.
Well, and another example of bartering is like the classic example of, inviting your friends or your family to help you move. Like you don't want to carry all of your things by yourself, but you're probably going to buy your friends and family, dinner to, thank them for their help. So sometimes asking for help That is also a form of bartering, and usually some amount of kindness or thank yous that you give back, that still counts. And you can also yeah, just barter by hiring someone
Mhm.
for a thing that you don't want to do. Or I guess also DoorDash is a barter as well,
Oh,
because you're
yeah,
exchanging money for, somebody to deliver something to you because you don't want to go pick it up.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
that counts as well.
That's any sort of commerce exchange is counts in this bartering it tool, but you can also do that commerce exchange without money just by trading your stuff. So either way, yeah, and that's the essential thing with bartering it. The usefulness of this tool is that you're taking things on your list and you're asking yourself each question. Can I bag this? Yes, great. Then it's bagged. Can I no? Then can I barter it? Yes, great. Then it's bartered. No, okay. Then can I better it? So this is things like Martha's example of bettering it is the dentist's office, right? And like you really can't get out of it. You can't even barter that one because it's your teeth that have to get worked on in this particular instance. Like it doesn't
Mhm.
matter how much Mo loves me, I can't pay her to go to the dentist for me. It just doesn't
Mhm.
work the same way. So there's no bartering it involved. And so how do I better this one? Bettering it is my favorite part of this tool because
Mhm.
bettering it kicks on your creativity brain because you have to ask yourself like, how can I make XYZ awful thing, in this
Yeah.
case the dentist, better, you know?
I like
And
to
so
ask, how can I make this suck less?
how can I make this suck less? Yeah, okay, so the 2 B's and 1 S tool we're gonna go with now.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, how can I make this suck less? The point is well taken, exactly, because sometimes things have to have a little bit of suck in them no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to make the dentist not suck, but you can make it suck less, you know?
Yeah.
By doing the following, implementing the Better It tool. And the Better It tool, this is where the Better It tool becomes one of my favorites because it's infinitely applied. You can, how will the dentist be made better for Morgan might be different than it would be for me, right? So for me, it might include like making sure that I do the dentist appointment at a time of the day when I know my energy is high. So I purposely
Mhm.
put it at a time of day that's going to be useful for me. And for me, that would be in the morning to get it over with. And that I also like tell myself, oh, I'm going to wait and get my caramel apple spice drink after. So I save it as like a treat. So I make going to the dentist better by getting my latte right afterwards. You know what I mean? And
Right.
depending on how much you hate the dentist, maybe you bring a buddy along. You know what I mean? Who's
Yep.
like going to hang out with you the whole time and like you're going to play games in the lobby. And then that might include some bartering it too, because you're going to have to agree to go to the dentist for them when it's their
Yeah.
turn or whatever. Right. But this is just the way to sort of include connection and creativity into your life. Like the dentist office is unavoidable, but it can also be a social outing.
Yeah. So the first two tools are kind of like a yes no a little bit. Like, can I bag it? Like, can I either cancel it or move it? Bartering, can I, get someone else to help me with this in some way, either by exchanging things or just asking for help? Yes or no. Obviously you can get kind of creative about how to barter things, but for the most part, yes or no. And then the better it is really the creative one, where you can think of, any one of a million ways to make something more comfortable, more pleasing, more fun for you. And so for me, if we run with the dentist example, putting headphones in, listening to music, or, making a deal with myself that I'm going to go, get a coffee afterwards, whatever. These are things that can make the experience feel less suckish, feel less um, unpleasant. And that makes it easier to go down your list of things. If you go and apply these three different strategies, whichever ones work, to all the things that you have coming up that are creating overwhelm or are consuming a lot of time for you, then your overall lived experience is going to be more pleasant, more enjoyable, and less stressful.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the power of the 3 B's, you guys. You can take yourself through these questions, ask yourself, can I bag this? Yes or no. Can I barter this? Yes or no. And can I better this? And then if so, how? And the answer to that one is always yes, by the way. You can always
Yeah,
better. Just
you
how?
can always better something in some way. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. So to really like nail this in, I guess Brian and I were thinking we would run through a live example of what it looks like to use the 3 Bs. So we're gonna kind of look at my to-do list and see, which of the 3Bs can apply to different sorts of things.
Okay. So lay it on me. What's the first thing on your to-do list for today or this week, Mo?
So I need to do that new BOI tax filing thing. It's like a new tax form for
Oh, yeah.
small businesses that is like happening for the first time this year. So I got to do that. It's not
Okay.
due until, the new year. However, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Okay, so that's the first one, and she even used language in there that clues us into the necessity of it or not. She said, "I need to do this." It's not always accurate. Sometimes we think we need to do something and we don't. But in the case of what she described, I'm going to play a safe bet that with the federal government involved, she needs
Yeah,
to do it, right?
right.
So here's the first question: can you bag this?
Maybe a little bit. I I don't have to do it right now. I will eventually have to do it now. So I could bag it for now in terms of not do it today, not do it this week, but eventually I will have to do it.
Okay, okay. And looking at that item, then, do you plan to bag it for this week, or do you plan to tackle it?
I'm probably gonna bag it for this week.
Okay, so it's bagged. What is the next item on your to-do list?
um, I also need to clean my shower, which I
Okay.
hate. I
Okay,
hate cleaning the
the need
shower.
word is cropping in there too again. So
Yeah,
so how excited do you feel about cleaning your shower now this week?
0, 0. I
0.
would rather clean toilets than clean the shower
Okay,
because it's
do you
easier and less time consuming.
here's the question, can you bag it?
No, it needs to be cleaned. I have to clean
What's the
it.
deadline in your mind for when it has to be cleaned by?
End of the week.
Like Sunday?
Yeah,
Okay, T minus 3.5 days. Okay,
yeah,
so with that time frame and the need for it to be clean, bagging it is off the table. Can you
yeah.
barter it? Who do you know in your life that just like is made jolly by cleaning showers and could
I don't think
be
anybody
and
likes
you
cleaning
could
showers,
make
but
jolly by doing something for them.
I could probably pay somebody to do it. I've been thinking about that, like, if I could find somebody to clean just my shower, like,
Yeah,
because I'm sure, like, it would be worth it to me to pay, like, 20 or $30 to have somebody just, like, clean it. Like, I don't know what it costs,
yeah.
but I that's a thing that I hate so much that I would much rather pay somebody to do it than me actually do it.
I see a Facebook post in the making, and for anyone listening, she'll probably go to 40. So just just
Upselling
keep
me
that
on
in
my
mind.
shower? That's crazy.
Yeah. So okay, good. So then good. That may get bartered or it may get elbow greased. What's next on your to-do list?
So I also have my ICF like coaching credential, and that has to be renewed every 3 years, and I'm coming up on renewal. So I need to finish up my CCE credits. My goal is to be done with those by the end of the year, but I think that I need like 6 more hours, so like 6 more webinars or something. And tests because they give you quizzes after you do the webinars and you do the trainings and stuff. So I got to do that.
Okay. And when is that due?
Also New Year.
Okay. So right now this week, can you bag it?
Yeah.
Do you want to bag it?
I wanna make progress on it because I don't
Okay.
wanna leave all of the hours for the last minute, so I wanna do at least, like, 1 hour
So if
this
you're gonna
week.
do 1 hour this week, you can't barter it because it's your own brain getting the continuing education. So this is like
Yeah.
the dentist, it's their teeth. Like she can't barter this away. Like you
Mhm.
can how can you better the goal of getting one CEU done this week? How can you do that and make it better?
Well, I get to choose what classes I take, so I could find a class that is interesting to me or that I think is going to specifically add to, my knowledge base for my specialization. So I might want to find something that's like self-love and confidence related. Um, the last one that I took was about like how to make coaching more inclusive for like working with neurodivergent populations, and that was really interesting. So I might want to continue on that thread and like learn more about like how to adjust my coaching for people who with ADHD or with other uh, I guess with other needs that are different from a typical like neurotypical person. So
Mm.
I might just pick topics that are more aligned with what genuinely interests me and that I'm going to enjoy taking.
Okay. And then what
So
else
that's
can
one
you
thing.
do when you're sitting there doing the credits? What else can you do to make it better in that moment?
I gotta make myself some tea, and I actually just I'm about to order a, like, tea advent calendar for December.
Okay.
I'm gonna have one new tea to try every day. So I could, I could, like, couple those things together
Yes.
and do my daily tea and then also enjoy that while I'm learning about something that interests me. So that'll be
TEUs.
good.
Your
Yes.
TEUs. Yeah. Great.
So yeah, CEU, CEU, TEU, yep, exactly. So I can do that, and then something that you mentioned earlier is, like, picking a time of day that
Mm.
you're most open to doing that thing. Because
Yes.
sometimes I might be like, "Oh, like, I should do this, like, right when I wake up," or, like, I'll have these thoughts about when is the right good time to do it, but really there isn't one, so just whenever works best for me is the right time to do it, and I actually found recently that doing it in the evening, like, after my workday, because it feels like it's less pressure,
Yeah.
is kinda nice for me. So if I do it in the evening and I pair my tea with it, and I pick a topic that I like, then it's actually something that feels exciting for me to do rather than like a, "Ugh, I have to go take these
Yes.
classes." Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. And that is right there, the ball game, everybody. That is the way to apply the 3 Bs, especially that third B. If you can, if it's possible to turn the thing that you have to do into a thing that you can enjoy, then you've executed the 3 Bs as exquisitely as
Yeah.
possible. Sometimes you can't. If it's the dentist, it's the dentist, but you can still turn it into something that you don't dread. We can go from
Mhm.
dread to not dread. If you can get all the way to joy and exuberance, like Mo just did here, then that's amazing too. That's the ball game. That's the goal. So
Yeah.
we just wanted to share that tool with all of you. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here and for listening.
Yeah.
Uh, we appreciate you so much, and we'll be back again next Thursday at 8:30 in the morning with another episode of DIY Wellness. In the meantime, if you heard anything here that resonates and you apply this tool to your own life, let us know in the comments how it goes. We would love to keep the conversation alive. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.
Absolutely.